Hey guys, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Figured I'd try one of these beers I got from that casual pint store. This is a hoppy lager. Ella hops are in there. And, I was looking at the website of, where was I looking? Not Yakima. One of the hop vendors, and they happen to have a special on Ella hops. And I was thinking about buying them, but I wanted to see what they tasted like first. So, cheers. Interesting aroma on this one. It's actually not, it's a very subtle, floral type of a scent on that. I read the label and I saw hoppy lager and I was worried it would be like an IPA-ish kind of lager. No, that's very refreshing. It's, if that's what Ella hops are, like, I don't know how much they put in there or where they put it in the schedule, but it's very pleasant. Yeah, I like that. Very nice, smooth, clean lager is what this tastes like. So, very awesome. Well, what do we have on this week? Quite a bit actually, and it's been a little bit hectic, so I didn't set up the tripod and all that stuff. I just wanted to do an impromptu video. I do have some footage for you of the brew panel. Actually went a lot faster than I thought it would go. Took me just a little bit, about a week, maybe just over a week to build it. I had a friend in the homebrew club that had some tools that was able to do some of the machining for me, like drilling the holes and kind of getting things set up. I did most of the wiring. He helped kind of give it a once over. Did have a little bit of a snafu there at the end. Wally actually helped me get through it, so it was really cool. It turns out that my volt and amp meters were on the DC side were wired backwards. I was trying to follow Cal's website and I was trying to follow the pictures on top of the instructions. I follow the instructions directly to the letter and everything's going smoothly. But every once in a while I get a little bit of a question of how did Cal do it? Or how did somebody else do it? And those high-res pictures that were on their website were very, very helpful for that. So, the pictures looked exactly like what I had, and they had the minus on the left and the plus on the right. And I didn't even think anything of it. I just kind of wired it the same way because it looked like the same equipment. And sure enough, for whatever reason on my controller, it's the other way. On the DC power supply, it's positive on the left and negative on the right. So. Fortunately, I didn't blow anything out. It just didn't work the first time I fired it up. So when I wired them correctly, it was fine. One other little interesting thing, and this was sort of another overlook. I do have the safe start in there, and you'll see it in the video. I think I show a little bit of the inside. The safe start wiring diagram, I followed that to the letter, and I followed the normal procedures to the letter. Problem is, there's one step in there that you don't have to repeat, and it doesn't say to do that or not to do that. So I did it without realizing. And when I first turned it on, I heard a couple of little clicks. So it made me take another look at it, and I said, you know what? I did find it kind of weird that there was 3 wires that I had to shove into the power switch, and you only needed 2. And it was because there's a connection on the normal procedures that tells you to send that over to the coil of the power relay. On the safe start, that one, there's a port in there, I think it's screw number 7 or 8, I forget which, also goes to the coil. So I had them both going to the coil, and what I should have done is just have it going right through that relay. But nowhere in the instructions does it say to forego that one step in the normal setup if you're doing the safe start. It just makes the assumption that you're doing everything. So lessons learned. Didn't cause any damage, didn't burn down the house, didn't trip any breakers or anything, so all good. Anyway, so enough of the rambling on that. The other couple things I got going here, let me just go ahead and flip this camera around. I'll just quickly show you guys. I have an electrician coming tomorrow because I didn't want to mess with the 30 amp circuit. I could probably do it. I'm sure it's no big deal. I've done stuff, 15 amp things in my old panel in my old house before. But here, I'll show you. So here's the panel in my garage. Now, what I was unsure about is just how this is recessed into the wall, and I'm sure I can, pull the cover off of there and feed some wires to the wall, but I am not that much mechanically inclined. to make that look anything nice. So I have a guy that we use for some. He does some electric stuff for us. He does plumbing work for us. He kind of runs an HVAC company. He does really good work, and he's really, really reasonable. He was willing to do this for me for a couple $100 and probably some homebrew. So much, much better deal than getting getting the electric company or somebody else to come out. Sorry, just taking another sip. So I'm gonna have him wire in the breaker and the outlet. So I did get all the stuff for him, so he doesn't have to bring any stuff. I got a little wire here. Got the 10-3 wire. I did have to special order the breaker because the panel I have is a Cutler Hammer Eaton, and it has these brown switches. So I did order the correct. It's the double pole GFCI 30 amp breaker for Cutler Hammer, and as you saw in here already. So all the switches are brown. There's a brown version and a black version for this this panel, so I made sure to get the right kind. So anyway, and I also got the plug. So there's just a standard dryer plug, So what I'll probably have him do, and I had a bit of a dilemma. There's the completed panel down there. So what I was planning on doing here, the water meter is probably gonna have to move. But what I thought would look nice, and I kind of polled the Facebook community, the BrewTube channel, my channel, and the one for the Homebrew Club, just to kind of get opinions on this. And what I wanted to do was put the panel up. What I would like to do is put it on the left, and I think I'm going to end up just doing that and just being done with it, because the problem is the boil kettle is there on the left, hot liquor tank's on the right. Now I guess I could switch these around. And I guess I can switch around the panel, the PIDs on the panel, and make it uniform, because my OCD would get the better of me if I didn't do that. But basically, what I thought would make the most sense, what looks the nicest, would be over here. I might put that plug somewhere around the switch, either below it, to the side of it, or something, so it looks kind of nice there. And I want to mount the panel kind of right here. In fact, I did kind of mark where the studs are. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera, but there's this one right there, and there's another one right there, which is what the meter's plugged into. Now the panel is a 16 by 16 panel, so what I could do is put like a board here, or even mount it straight to the drywall, I suppose. If I mounted it straight to the drywall, it would have to kind of straddle these two here, but I might want it a little further away, more away from the boil kettle. So what I might do is put center a board on this, a 16 by 16 board here, and mount it right onto that. So yeah, so and I realize that this cart is mobile. It's got the wheels on there, so sure enough, I can just as easily move this around as I brew. But we'll figure that out. But I think for now, what I'm probably going to do is just mount everything here on the wall, because I'd rather that be stationary. And the power plug is I believe it's a 10-foot cord, 10 or 12. It's pretty long. So even if I mounted it there and swung this table around and brewed in front of the door, it would reach. So, all right, guys. Well, that's pretty much all I have for this week. Hopefully this video doesn't turn out to be too terribly long. But there you see it there, side by side, sort of. There's the new and the old. Still looking for a buyer for the old one. Got a couple people that are interested. So hopefully sometime in the near future, someone will pull the trigger on that, and I can offload my old stand, because the new one's pretty close. I have, like I said, I got the wiring going to get done tomorrow, and I can probably test it out at that point. There's a couple of fittings that I still need, a couple of like T fittings and things for just hooking up all the stuff. I did order the chiller as well, so I got the chiller and the pumps that are going to need some plumbing on them, or some fittings on them. So I got all the hoses and everything already. So that should wrap it up. Just a matter of putting everything up, last minute, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks here, or sooner, if things work out in my favor, then we'll be brewing. So anyway, have a happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody, and cheers. All right, guys, here's the panel. It's all done. I just have it sitting in my laundry room for the moment with the temperature probes just kind of hanging there. So you just kind of run it into the dryer plug for now until I can get a circuit built in the garage. But there's not a whole lot of room in here, so bear with me. Tight quarters. Let's go ahead and try it out. There we go. So that's just reading room temperature. It's a little warm in this laundry room. But yeah, everything, I mean, as far, aside from testing out the elements, everything seems to be in order. Got the pumps working. We got the elements that are clicking on. So I assume they're working. I can hear the relays clicking in. Just gotta actually plug things up and try it out, but we'll do that once the circuit's built outside and we can start brewing. The timer circuit's working as well. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and make this 5 seconds maybe. Let it count down. There you go. So all ready to brew. Alright, I turned off the power. I just want to give you guys a quick peek on the inside. So, no power. We're safe. And I did the best I could with organization. It's definitely could be better, but it works. I tried to make sure everything was, you know, out of the way of all the components as best as I could. There's a lot of wires in here, so it's not easy to do. But there you go. It's like I said, could have done better, but it seems to work. So, you know, hindsight 2020, I probably would have not run as much wire going across here. You know, since there was so many wires going across here, I could only predict how this is going to work. This wrapping here. So it does sort of split off down there, and I kind of, it actually fell off now, but I kind of like tied this here to the back, because the idea there was when this closes, I didn't want it to close over top of the that relay. So it does look like it gets close. It's probably got a half inch or an inch maybe distance, so I wanted to make sure this was clear out of the way. So what I did was I kind of pushed this back and tied it to the wall. So yeah, that'll have to work. But once this is properly mounted on the wall, there'll probably be less issues. So anyway, stay tuned for actually using this live.